out of kryptonite, of course. But we had a situation occur that is very understandable for people who can think. But you've got to put your thinking cap on. You've got to be involved, engaged in something to change the world. I mean, I don't know how many listeners you have. It's a small show. I know maybe only 100. And you figure, well, why am I doing this? You know, uh,
I ask myself that question sometimes, but
why am I doing this?
This is fulfilling.
And I'm thinking, well, maybe there's just that one person out there. That one person out there will say, hey, I'd like to get involved with one of these films. I'd like to help finish on Vassals of the Vampire. Or I'd like to help change the world. I'm going to be a participant. And if you take a look at the website, freeworldfilmworks.com, well, you can probably go there and you can pick up one of our films. We've done a new one called Skull and Bones, The Catholic Connection. And this is done with a former seminarian student who discovered that since Vatican II, the church has been taken over, essentially. It is being used, definitely, by this evilarchy. And if we take a look at the preachers, Hagee and Patterson, Peters, what's his name? Or the Robertson. I just keep thinking I want to find a legitimate preacher, and I thought he was so good for so long, until I discovered that things weren't exactly running right, that they were running wrong. So I've gotten together with a couple fellows now, and we're putting together this information in ways that people can understand. And you saw one of our films just today, and it was called, was it Millennium 2000 or was it Lucifer 2000?
We were watching the Millennium 2000. It was from 1999 with Terry Cook and the great Jordan Maxwell and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was a host of the show. And the problem here, and the problem is with so many people, that they just don't get it, or they just can't believe it. They just can't believe that anyone or any group of people would be so wrong for so long. And the people will say, well, if this is true, why haven't we heard it on ABC? If this was true, why wouldn't we hear a bit about the killing of 100 million people in China? Why don't they discuss the fact that they eat the fetuses, the dead babies?
That's a good question.
In China, and when I was in China, actually I wanted to buy one, but I'm thinking if I could just put it into a jar, and the big boys, they cost the most. When this doctor was asked, he says, well, why would you do such a thing? And she says, well, anything else would be a waste.
That's incredible. I've got
to give you a phone number. It's 928.
Please.
2270-760. That's 928-227-0760. That's 227-0760.
Great. Yeah, we've got a guy. We got one of the guys in the chat room saying that's true. This is all very factual. And when you mentioned, that one person that wants to get together and help you, and help, make a change, he jumped in and said, "I'm one of those people." So I'll make sure he gets that phone number. You're working on a lot of things right now. I just wanted to throw out some of the titles that I've found. You mentioned the Illuminati 911, the Skull and Bones Catholic Connection, offshoot of Vessels of the Vampire, still in production. Am I correct?
Yes.
And the Nazi, that's N-A-U-C?
Yeah, Nazi, like
Nazi.
the
Right.
Nazi agreement. So
Nazi.
we're going to do a thing on the Nazi agreement, which is the North American Union. And they're trying to bring in the Amero to replace the dollar. They're dropping the dollar because they print this stuff. They know that it's not worth anything. So they're going to flood this country with this fiat funny money. See, we have a chance to have, if somebody wanted to get something from me and they wanted to pay for in lawful money, I call it U.S. lawful. There's a U.S. lawful money, and it's legitimate silver or gold. But they're trying to pawn off this fiat funny money stuff, which is worthless, on us. And we may take a look at President Bush, or certainly Obama, where we will have an abomination here shortly, unless we have the Lou Dobbs run, and that would be not a surprise to me. But if we had an election and either McSame or Abomination were elected or selected, because it's a two-part, we have a one-party system.
Right.
We have Zbigniew Brzezinski backing Obama. We have Henry Kissinger and clan, behind McSame. And it really doesn't matter what happens. It's heads they win, tails we lose. There is no choice. There is no chance. There is an opportunity, however, for us to break through, and it's done via film. A film can be seen by 1 million before the book can be read by one. So if we have 5 more days of editing, or 10 more days of editing, actually you get 10 days for about $1,500. We can actually finish some of these things. When you're confronted with trying to do 21 films, you say, "Well, Anthony, you've got to be nuts." Well, I'm not nuts. I know that you have to. If you want a lot of product out there, you've got to be taking a look at the news and segregating it, and putting everything into the proper slot, so we can address the big picture. Because there are many pieces of this humongous geopsychopolitical picture that we have to put together, so people will be able to see and hear beyond their ears, see beyond their sight, and learn to touch beyond the end of their fingertips.
I hope you get a lot of support through people listening to this. It'll be rebroadcast here at revolutionbroadcasting.com and ronpaulradio.com at a later date. Also, you'll be able to find it on my YouTube channel. It'll be public. Some of the other movies you're working on, or films you've worked on, 9/11, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold. We were talking about 9/11.
Well, Illuminati 911 was the first one. And then 911, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, which is in 23 countries and 7 languages. We have another one called the 911, The Big Lie. We have Thieves in the Temple, about the Federal Reserve. Vassals of the Vampire, in production. Millennium 2000. Lucifer 2000. Reichstag 95. The New World Order.
I love that one.
Day of the Underdog, which was about Pat Buchanan running for president and really offering an opportunity. But Bay, his sister, managed the campaign, which simply made that Reform Party option out of reach. But there's so many things. We've got another thing called On the Ships of Troy, Winds of the Warlock, which is about the manipulation of the weather. These things, all these things.
Harp, right?
Yes, Hitler's harp.
You got Citizenship 666, tracking people, and
Citizenship 666.
Mark of the Beast.
We have an invasion. We have an invasion from south of the border. A lot of these people are good people, but they release the prisoners out of jail, the criminals, on a certain night, and I was on the other side, the Mexican side of the border, with a group of guys that are waiting to climb over that night. You say, why would I be there? Wouldn't that be dangerous? Yeah, well, I hired a cop to stand over to the side, and watch us. You can buy cops over there.